D is saying Israel's right wing, I think. Right wing
word,
shift or
not
rightward
right
shift.
wing.
Rightward shift. Israel's rightward shift is straining its ties with U.S. Jews. Where does that leave Israel if they lose their U.S. backing? I have an article about this if you want me to read it. Or I could just summarize it using ChatGPT. What do you think about this? Do you want me to read the article
I don't know.
and then we can comment
You
on?
tell me. I don't know anything about it.
Okay, well, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Well, let me just read the article really quick. Well, no, no, I'm not going to read the article because I'll when Harris gives his opinion, I'll get ChatGPT to summarize it, and I'll just read the summary.
I don't
But, huh? No,
I said,
but
no,
this
I don't
is
have an opinion, and then I haven't been following this whole Israel.
it's important. I told
you.
people.
I want to listen more.
Okay. I mentioned before that this is going to have major consequences beyond Israel borders, and this is one of those examples, right? And this is actually a silver lining, I think, because the amount of influence that Israel has on U.S. politics is very destructive, right? I mean, it's not just Israel. I don't want to go with the conspiracy of like Jews are controlling the world and everything. Saudi Arabia has a lot of negative influence on U.S. politics as well, right? And many other industries as well. But we got another super chat. I'm gonna read that later. But I think like this divorce happening because there's a lot of young American Jews who don't think like their parents. They don't see this loyalty between Jews and U.S. Jews and Israel. And I think it's good to separate that. It's good to separate that because it's good for. It just doesn't make any sense for and there's a lot of unhealthy habits that many Israeli Jews also have when it comes to agreeing with a lot of criticisms that they have with their own country, Israel, but not voicing it because they think that Israel is in such a threat that you shouldn't be criticizing it because it's trying to stay alive, right? It could be, and I think the situation in Israel has gone so bad that that attitude is dying. Like I talked to a lot of leftist Israelis that used to be silent about a lot of their Israeli politics, and now like, okay, this is it. Now I have to come and speak out. This is like we're losing the democracy. We're losing liberalism and secularism in our country, and we need to come and speak out. You've seen the protests, like people are coming out and they're voicing their opinions. However, as much as it's good to see a divorce between Israeli politics and American Jews, that's a good thing to see, but that's a very, 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 very small silver lining because the consequences of this divorce of U.S. not being able to rely as much as before on Israel as an ally in the region, it's still going to be they're still going to be really close buddies, right? But it's just going to be a lot less reliable at a time that we need unity against Iran, right? The United States is doing a major shift to the Pacific to focus on China, and it has a lot less resources and ability to focus on the Middle East. And that's why the policy by the Biden administration and before that by the Obama administration was to try to get its allies in the region to just figure this out with themselves, like to instead of coming in and managing things, to get Israel, Saudi Arabia, the other Gulf Arab countries like Qatar, UAE, Bahrain, and even Egypt to be involved in just getting support from the US, but then them managing this themselves. And you can see the Iran threat has been so major that it has pushed traditional enemies close together as allies to be able to, and the lack of reliability on US because US is more concerned with China right now has brought all these countries together to be close with each other to be able to provide stability in the Middle East themselves. But this shift to the right by Israel has made Israel a much less reliable ally because for two reasons. First, Israel is now going to be a lot more focused internally rather than focusing on having it focused on trying to fight back against Iran and provide stability around the Middle East. Two, Arab countries are going to find it a lot more difficult to be allies with Israel because of their own population looking at the anti-Arab attitude of Israel and being more critical of their governments trying to go forward with the Abraham Accord. And three, again, U.S. backing Israel is going to be difficult because a lot of liberal Americans are going to have a lot of problem with Israel as well. Yeah.
I was just going to add to that, and I was raising my finger for that. Like, even for the U.S., for the free world, they can't. Yeah, it becomes difficult for them to support a country that has, a huge, unliberal, right-wing, religiously motivated, conservative population. And that's one of the problems with India as well. India being the largest secular democracy. That's why the free world is a bit different from India, even though like the West or the free world would align themselves. They would put India before China or any other authoritarian country. But these tendencies are embarrassing for the rest of the world.
Especially
towards
LGBT.
Conservatism. Yeah.
Especially LGBT right. Because that's a major taboo now, and and Israel. Let me see if I could summarize this in one paragraph.
Okay. Once you're done, I've got a funny video to play.
Okay.
I didn't do much homework today.
It's okay. We have our days. Okay, so look at this. Oh my god, I freaking love ChatGPT. It's great. So yeah, next time I have articles people send to me, I'm gonna have the summary before. So here's the summary of the article by ChatGPT. Jewish leaders in the United States are concerned that the new Israeli government will threaten Israel's democracy with fears over the independence of the judiciary and legal protections of minority groups. Yeah, so this one is actually pretty problematic because did you know Israel is making it difficult for people to appeal their case? So if you're an Arab and you get arrested and you want to appeal your arrest, they're making it difficult as an Arab for you to be able to appeal that. So that's horrible. And the judiciary system is going to lose its independence, and the Knesset, the parliament in Israel, is going to have a lot of influence on what is legal and what is illegal. So that's basically the separation of the branches of power, which is the main fundamental principle of how democracies work ever since Montesquieu. That is being questioned. So basically, this is going to break the liberal democracy in Israel if that happens, right? So while some Jewish leaders dismiss such fears, a solid majority of mainstream Jewish American groups are voicing unprecedented criticism of Israel's government, raising concerns about a growing rift between Israel and the predominantly liberal American Jewish population. This comes amid a flare-up of deadly violence involving Israeli and Palestinians, with Israel troops conducting a raid in the West Bank that killed at least 11 Palestinians and wounded scores. Yeah, this is actually very interesting because the major problem is that Israel's major ally is U.S., and Israel relies on American Jews to keep this allyship close. But the problem is American Jews are a lot more liberal than the Israeli government. So the Israeli government is doing itself a major disservice by going right-wing, because American Jews, which you need for this tie to continue, are not going to like Israel going right-wing. So it's going to basically cut this tie. I mean, not completely, but it's going to damage it. Get my best-selling book, Why There Is No God, for free. Click on the link for it in the description.